Hello and greetings, loyal and intrepid viewers. I can't believe how the last week has gone. I'm sure you can't either. Now, before I go off for a couple of days into Aussie Christmas, and because summer's finally kicked in, having a picnic by the river somewhere and going off, and I'll only be gone 2 days. You'll hardly know I'm gone. And I thought, what to do for the sort of end of year roundup of all the players. So that's what I'm doing. I'm answering requests, and so I'm going to mix and match, and I will go through Trump and the criminal offspring. Refuse to call them children. They're co-conspirators. They are now absolutely second generation, third generation possibly, crime syndicate figures. So I'll be covering them, and Stephen Miller. He might win the Wacko Stakes, and anything else that comes up. So I'm going to first of all do a vibe on Mar-a-Lago. Now, the Neanderthal has held off going to Mar-a-Lago. He won't be able to help himself, I'm sure, shortly. He'll be there. So I just want to get an atmosphere now, because apparently the next generation of the criminal syndicate are already there. So what would the atmosphere be like before I do them individually? So I'm using the French Siberian deck to have a look. So let's have a look at Mar-a-Lago. What's the vibe of Mar-a-Lago? Mar-a-Lago. And of course, the Secret Service are not getting paid. What is this government shutdown stuff? I don't know of any other first world country that has it. Banana republics might shut things down, but real countries don't. I know you've had them for years, but they're the weirdest thing, along with so much else that goes unquestioned in American government circles. So we're looking at Mar-a-Lago first off. Oh, I do love these cards. Oh yes, the king, not there yet. I've got to take off this bangle. It's irritating me. Okay, so we have lots going on here. Lots going on. So in the centre, which I think is Don Jr., until his father, the greedy king, arrives, he's at the centre, the magician. Now, he has spent his adult life in service to the Mad King, and he's getting there in his own right. The magician card, he has been practicing, I don't mean literally, but figuratively speaking, he's been practicing the dark arts for a long time. He is arguably the most deluded of the three siblings, right? Ivanka isn't mad. Eric isn't mad. I think Don Jr. actually might have got the gene. He is convinced, he's worried there isn't a way out, but he's convinced there is, because he's got to keep saying it like his father. So therefore, if you deny what's actually going on, you can't make a strategic plan. And so he's relying on the magic, if you like, of the name, which will soon be poison if it's not already. He's relying on the magic of disbelief, right? Magic is about making people believe, but it's also about making people disbelieve. And so he's convinced there's still some magical solution. The other thing about the Magician card that's very strong is the Magician card has all the 4 suits at their disposal. He is working it, you could say. Interestingly, Eric doesn't appear in this. I wonder if he is there. If he is, he's probably locked in one of the 37 bathrooms. Ivanka's here, the Empress. Now, the Empress card, she's often been the Empress in those early readings I did for her. The card of fertility, the Earth Mother card, she has got 3 children and all that. And she had grand plans. But if you look in this deck, the Japarizzi deck, the Empress is much more chaotic and is tumbling down. It's almost like the Tower in itself. You have this weird figure here with the rabbit ears, which I think could be her husband, and this is her falling from grace. So she is stressed out beyond belief. Behind them is the Justice card coming down. I love this image of the 2 umbrellas. It's like the yellow sun umbrella is stopping the rain, but the black umbrella is catching the rain. Think about that image for a moment, viewers. Okay, so they think they've sheltered themselves from legal proceedings. This is the Justice card, but you know what? They're standing in it. They're absolutely standing in it. In other words, everything has fallen down to their feet. On top, like I said, King of Gardens, King of Discs, the Greedy King. Broom, broom, still to fly in. And they're nervous. This is about Mar-a-Lago. I'm doing them individually in a moment. This is about the atmosphere. And I think this tells everything about the atmosphere, followed by the Wolf card. They are a wolf pack. Hang together, will survive, all of that stuff. But you have to be reminded that the wolf, each wolf is a predator. So I think it's a very apt image. And you also have the famous image of the lone wolf. Will they go their own ways? Well, let's find out, shall we? So let me put these cards back. Now we all know that everything with the Trump name on it is being examined. Of course, it was always going to be, but it's only been confirmed for us all officially and legally since the Cohen stuff. So we also know the Southern District of New York has been very busy, and not just recently. They're a known crime family, and I think, dear viewers, I think this is the language we have to use, you know. They're a crime family. They're nothing else. They've never produced anything. They are a crime family. That's what they do. They rip off other people for a living. They duck and weave and hide and lie and thieve for a living. All right? And New York has known this for a long time. The rest of the country took a while to catch up. But their devious dealings are going to come back. Big time. Big time. Okay. So, now, thinking about it, I think I'll do Frodo first. Eric. What's going on for Eric Trump? Look, he's a bit stronger than he looks. He gets the strength card there. But the other cards are all tides, which are cups, which are emotion. These people who have spent their lives devoid of emotion, their only emotion was warmth and glee and happiness I've ripped off someone else for $1 million. Yes, it's made my day. It's made my week. That's the only emotion it appears to me they've ever experienced. Now they are experiencing anxiety and in some cases I suspect abject terror, but they're not quite there yet. So he gets the Ace of Cups, overflow of emotion. He's spilling and spewing forth emotion in a way that is uncharacteristic for him. The poor bastard, he has always been the one left out, and then the beautiful other two siblings have stolen the limelight. This could be his saving grace, or it could just mean he gets a lesser sentence, or he could be up to his bollocks, as they say in the UK, in all of it and not be let off just because he was treated badly as a child by his siblings, right? So, Ace of Cups, effusive emotion. The Stranger of Tides, weird or what? He is weird, but they're all weird in different ways. But him emotionally, I'm beginning to think he's more complex than he appears, just doing the bidding of his father. And lest we forget, Mother of Dragons, I think he was impacted by Ivana's mothering, perhaps more than the others. It's just an intuitive feel. In any event, he's losing it. You know, he's awash with emotions. As I said, he did get the Strength card, but he's going to need it stronger than he has appeared until now. Now, illusion, delusion. I mean, this is really the Trump crime family card, isn't it? Illusion, delusion. So he's just unmoored, is the word I would use. He has lost the anchor rope. He can't cope with these things coming down as well as the others who have more sophisticated protective devices. Let's have a look next at Don Jr. Oops, what fell out? Oh. Queen of Fire, Queen of Fire. That could be, it could be Ivana. Ivana's turning up for me psychically in this. This could be the mother. Queen of Fire. Could also be Barbara Underwood, of course, or a judge who's going to hear his case. Oh, don't we love Judge Sullivan hearing the Flynn case? Oh. So Queen of Fire, we'll see what that's about. Don Jr. Oh, sorry, that was just bad shuffling, viewers. Don Jr. Don Jr. Judgment. Oh, the volcano's going to Republic. Oh, look, it's perfect. I won't even spend much time on it. Scrap that, not the mother. Queen of Wands is going to be a female judge. Going to play a large part. What does he get? He gets judgment, sure as hell, coming down. The bats of hell are coming down. The volcano's about to explode, and he ends up out in the cold. Well, that's a very clear trajectory, isn't it, viewers? Let's just move right along. I'm sure you're all itching to know, is Ivanka going to jail? Now, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I thought, oh, you know, she's such a princess. They're going to pull all the stops out. It's going to look really bad if Ivanka goes to jail. That won't happen. Everyone will sort of rally and take an extra rap to let the princess off the hook. But now I'm not so sure, because she is a signed party to their decades. They're only in their 30s and they've got decades of crime behind them. So Ivanka. Okay. Oh. Oh, she might escape. All right, she has got the family jewels. Literally, can you believe it? I shuffle and shuffle. Here's the Seven of Tides again. Illusion, delusion. How can you not trust tarot? I mean, it keeps saying they are deluded. This is the Three of Discs, which is the slimy group work in the case of the Trumps. The Three of Discs can be positive group work with normal people doing positive things in the world, but this is not the Trumps. This, if you look at the imagery here, I would read it in relation to Ivanka. She sees herself as the aristocrat. They're being painted, and that's how she wants her image to appear. It's how she wants her image to appear. Three of Fives, she's having fantasies about moving overseas. A friend of mine asked me, is Trump going to shoot through to Moscow? I'll read on that briefly too, but she is seriously hoping to fly away and could be considering an overseas option. Their mother was Czechoslovakian before the split. You never know, she might still have a passport for Slovakia or something. Page of Wands, this is a message coming that their house is on fire. This is really interesting. I might just do a quick clarifier on Ivanka with your traditional Rider-Waite. Ivanka, outcome for Ivanka. Outcome of Ivanka. Yes, she's still working on the details. She is planning. Unlike Eric, who's totally freaked out, she is planning and scheming. And she's going to run away with the goods. I'd go as far as to say, the rip-off card, getting away with what you can get away with. That could mean she escapes jail, and she does get away with it, for sure. But together with this other card, I think she's seriously considering running away. Oh, that's interesting. Literally running away. Maybe she'll go to Israel. Oh, how odd. All right. Now, we have to look at Trump himself, do we not? Who cares about Melania? I don't care. Do you, Melania? No, I just can't be bothered even reading on the woman. So now we're going to look at the trumpet just right now. And when he gets to Mar-a-Lago, Trump, headspace, Trump. It's this monarchy thing going on with them, isn't it? Now, I like this card, Eight of Gardens. So it's like, it's very industrial. It's like a welder or something doing this. He's trying to weld the presidency back together. There's also a mad scientist element. It's like desperately trying to come up with a solution. Remember the magician card at the beginning of all this? Yeah. It's true madness now. It's Frankenstein. There's a Frankenstein sort of reference in here. He is Frankenstein. Queen of Cups, King of Cups. Mother and father. I think this is Ivana. I think she's possibly saying, you should go down and not take my children with you. She's appealing to him. Funny how she's turning up. Mother of Dragons is turning up. She's appealing to him as a father. She's appealing to him as a father. Oh, well, you know, he'd push the boys' heads underwater, but Ivanka, it might work. Then he gets the very sinister figure, the King of Fire. This is Trump ready to burn down the White House if he has to. He doesn't care. He is so mad, he doesn't care. Oh my God. Now, a dear friend of mine who's been a great help to me on a lot of the legal things while all this has been unfolding, and as a top flight lawyer, he was very surprised to have a dream last night that Trump was going to go to Moscow. He's going, I don't have these sort of dreams. Lena, can you read on it for me? So here's a shout out. You know who you are. Okay, so I'm going to do a shout out. I can't see that happening, but look, I'm going to honour my friendship and just ask the question. Is Trump going to take flight to Moscow? Other viewers have commented on this. It's not my first port of call, but let's see. Is Trump going to Moscow? What's that? King of Tides against Seven of Tides. What are the chances? Ooh, Nine of Wands with reverse. Nine of Swords reverse. Okay. Really? Okay. They just got the King of Tides, right? That's him as a father. Maybe he thinks, if I abdicate the throne and go to Moscow, it'll save the kids. How weird is that? Never done anything involving anyone else in his life. Again, as if we didn't need it. Seven of Tides, illusion, delusion. Seven of Discs. Look, or the Seven of Pentacles. It's him weighing up options on some level about money, but we know he's mad, and this is the illusion card. But I think the clincher, in a way, is the Nine of Wands or the Nine of Swords, the hostage card, upside down. He sees it as a way out of captivity. The traditional Nine of Swords is captivity, and the question was Moscow. Here's what I think. I don't think it'll actually happen because of all the family, he's the least equipped to live in another country. I don't think he can get his American brain around such an option. I also don't think Putin wants him. I don't think Putin gives a flying toss what happens to him at this point. He's just so thrilled he's been given Syria and power for the rest of his natural life in the Middle East. And he can ally himself freely with China because they have combined enemies now in the United States. So Putin couldn't be more thrilled. I think until recently he was very unhappy with Trump. Now he's gone, you've given me everything. But to answer that question about Moscow, what I think is happening is Trump is so freaked out, he's thinking about it. No, I don't think he'll do it. He's thinking about it. That's how far down the tubes he is. How bizarre. I guess we'll never really know unless there's a tell-all where someone says he came shrieking into the room going, I'm going to Moscow, I'm going to Moscow. We'll never know. But that surprised me. I didn't think it would cross his radar, but I think he's looking for escape routes, like Ivanka is looking for escape routes. Well, now, Stephen Miller I'm sure you all know who Stephen Miller is. He's the speechwriter responsible for every ghastly foreign policy utterance and all the anti-immigrant stuff is Stephen Miller. We know his story. I've read on him before. He's a self-hating Jew, which is why he can't bond fully with the alt-right. His entire family has come out against him, saying we don't understand how, as the son and grandson of this particular family, how he could say the things he does, why he thinks he does. What turned up in the reading was that he was grossly bullied as a child in a very liberal school in California, and as a result hates liberals, hates lefties. So this is his personal revenge, and which is why we need to really look at bullying in schools, because this is the sort of thing that can result from it. But the net result, he's an adult man. He's fully disturbing. He is fully disturbing. Okay, so a quick look. Stephen Miller, he's survived. He flies under the radar. He has survived all the coups in the palace, and he has continued Bannon's work more effectively than Bannon, because Bannon's too high profile, and so people rise up against him, and people forget Stephen Miller, and that's why he's so powerful. He's extremely powerful, and because he's not a threat to Trump, and in fact pushes Trump further than he even naturally goes, Trump loves him. He doesn't love him in the sense of warm and fuzzy. He probably thinks he's just a nerd, but he finds him a useful nerd. Stephen Miller. You know, the eternal question, who is the Antichrist? No, I don't think it's Trump. I think it could be Stephen Miller. I'm just joking. I don't believe there is such a figure. But Stephen Miller is seriously bad news. He's the propagandist behind this stuff. Stephen Miller, what's happening? Oh, okay. Funny how these cards recur, isn't it? Okay, so Two of Swords. Other people are at a crossroads of what they think about Stephen Miller. Not the public, because he's not in the general public's radar, but I'm talking like the donors, the big donors, are beginning to think we actually have to get rid of Stephen Miller as much as we have to get rid of Trump. That's a turning point. That is a turning point. Knight of Swords, it could be quite a quick come down on him, because Stranger of Fire, the hair's on fire, not that he's got much. Nine of Wands, Nine of Swords, as I said, the captivity card. I don't think he's literally going to be jailed, but I think he's boxed in. And his message of fire and not fire and brimstone, because I don't think he's got a religious sort of ideology. It's just pure hate. So my prediction is the donors, and let's call it the upper echelons of the GOP, and given their reptiles, it just means that the upper echelons are maybe at ground level. Dreadful, dreadful creatures. Are starting to realise, because Miller's behind the wall, again, not that he believes in the wall, he just believes in hatred. And they're beginning to realise he's a problem. So his days could be numbered externally, not from Trump. He never rocks the boat with Trump. He's too clever for that. He's not a stupid man, but talk about applying your genius for evil. No, he's not a genius either. He's just averagely smart, but he's very motivated by hatred. So I think you're going to see a bit of movement from the GOP to either reduce his power or get rid of him. don't forget, I said in the last video, I don't think the GOP is going to go down the 25th Amendment route. Apparently, even they, some of them, very few of them, but some of them are talking impeachment themselves. I've never felt Trump would be impeached. But as soon as we get over this particular time of year, by about next week, I'll do a more substantial reading on all the options. Basically, I think they're going to really want to try and force Trump to resign. We'll see. But let's just finish off with a little one on the GOP over the break, because they are so not having a break. They are so not having a break. GOP. I might just move to the right away to finish off with the GOP. Let me just mix these up. Okay, GOP. Just in this next week or so, what's happening with the GOP? GOP. Next week for the GOP. Looking at this. Oh, yeah. All right. Probably not surprising. I'll be quick because this is quite a long reading. They're looking to the past, okay, and that reflects their outcome card. Nostalgia, when they were powerful, when they had sane presidents, they're speaking a lot. This is the card of the speaker. They are going to be onto each other night and day. They're quietly in despair. They are not sleeping at night. That's what I just said, night and day. They are not sleeping. They know they've got to sort something out or they're going into oblivion. They collectively know that. Regardless of where they sit in the party itself, they do understand that. They're relying on their strength, their historical strength. I'll just do a little clarifier on that. Where are they going to go from here in this next week? Which faction of the party is going to come out on top? Queen of Cups. Okay, they're going to go for the emotional card. So, literally, the Lady Diana card. Emotions and emotions. They're going to come to an emotional decision about the future of the party. Now, there isn't scope here to go into that properly. Does that mean to save the party they will continue to back Trump? Does it mean to save the party they have to get rid of him themselves? What does it mean? But they're going to come to an emotional decision. Oh, I just saw in the camera the shadow card, walking away. I think they might be walking away from him. Lovely, keep up the comments. I won't be responding to emails for 2 days, and you guys are probably a bit preoccupied as well, so it doesn't matter. But I will be back onto it. But keep the comments going because I will be reading those, even though I'm leaving the premises for 2 days. I will be reading comments. Love you guys. So bonded. Thanks for being such a great community. Really, I feel so privileged. Bye now. See you on the other side.